What's going on, everybody? Mark here from the Burning Hammer. Basically, what this is it's kind of going to be like a mini version of the podcast. Potentially, one may say a micro pod, if you will. It's basically just going to be me talking about a few different scenarios that I think are going to play out at the Royal Rumble. And because I feel like there's a couple different things that could happen in both the men's and the women's matches. But before we get into that, if you want to watch our most recent video, click one of the links up in the corner. I'm not sure when this is going to come out, so I can't really tell you what video it's going to be. But one thing I do know is that it's going to be hot fire flames because the Burning Hammer is literally hot fire flames. So let's jump into the men's match because I feel like there's a couple things that could play out. WWE has a chance to really cement a couple different superstars. Number one, they have the chance to really elevate LA Knight, into a different tier, a different level of wrestler by having him win the Royal Rumble match. Now, I don't think he's going to win, because right now, a lot of people are saying that he's going to face Logan Paul at WrestleMania for the United States title. I kind of hope they take the title off of Logan Paul before that because I'd like to see the United States Championship on television, and you could build that feud. I'm assuming they're going to wait until after the Elimination Chamber because I want to say they're going to have Elimination Chambers. I want to say it's late February or the first week in March, but I think it's the late February. It's around then. So they have some time after the Elimination Chamber to build up potential feuds for WrestleMania. Maybe the match happens at Elimination Chamber, the first one, and then maybe LA Knight beats Logan Paul for the United States Championship following that at WrestleMania. But they have an opportunity to really elevate LA Knight and put him in another tier of wrestlers because he's one of the biggest stars. I think you can easily make the argument that he is one of the biggest baby faces in WWE currently, and I just think that they could have an opportunity to just really, really push him and really, really give him a huge victory. They had him win money, or they should have had him win Money in the Bank, if we're being honest, but he didn't. But that's okay because I'm assuming they're going to put the U.S. title on him, although I feel like Kevin Owens winning the United States Championship at the Royal Rumble would be just as good. Have him hold open challenges like John Cena did when Kevin Owens made his main roster debut. Kind of everyone knows about that. Kevin Owens stomps on the United States Championship, raises his NXT title. What a moment. I vividly remember the one-finger rope break. One of my favorite moments ever in a wrestling match. Kevin Owens just reached over and he had just enough length just to put one finger on the bottom rope to break whatever the count. And so I think that's something interesting that they could do. Maybe Logan Paul pulls double duty and also wrestles in the Rumble, and maybe LA Knight eliminates him. I don't know how likely that is to actually happen, but another thing they could do is they could give another wrestler his first Royal Rumble victory, and that's CM Punk. Now, CM Punk has never won a Royal Rumble. I think he's been one of the last few guys in the match a couple different times, but it's kind of shocking that just to think about how big of a star he was for 4 or 5 years in WWE, and the fact that he never won the Rumble is kind of crazy, but it's also just if you're holding the title during the time of the Rumble, you're not really going to win that many Royal Rumbles, if any, or maybe not even compete in any. So that's sort of like this situation where some wrestlers who are super good, they may not have that many Royal Rumble victories or have not really competed in that many Royal Rumble matches just because they were the champion during that time. But that's something they could do, is to give CM Punk his first Royal Rumble victory. I don't think they're going to do that. Because to me, it seems pretty clear that they're going to do Punk versus Seth at WrestleMania, and I don't really think that CM Punk needs to win the Royal Rumble match in order to have him face Seth Rollins. Now, you can make that argument for one of the other people I'm going to talk about who I think is actually going to win, but I think just over the past couple of weeks, kind of just thinking about all of the promos, all of the segments that CM Punk has been talking about. He's been in face-to-face in the ring with Seth Rollins. Like, it kind of seems like we're already teasing that. So to me, it doesn't feel like we're going to go that way, because right now it feels like that's already the direction they're going. And so I don't think you need CM Punk to win in order to have him face Seth Rollins, because, like I said, I think that we're already moving in that direction. So he doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble match, but he probably does deserve to have at least one Royal Rumble victory in his career. All right, so the next person is, I think, potentially a dark horse to win. That's going to be Randy Orton. Randy Orton has the potential to win his third Royal Rumble, joining only Stone Cold Steve Austin as a wrestler to ever win 3 Royal Rumble matches. And is this going to happen? Probably not. I don't know what the chances are. I think it's a bit of a dark horse to do it. I don't know. You let me know. Who do you think has a better chance of winning, LA Knight or Randy Orton? I don't think either are going to win. I think they're probably in the same sort of percentage of wrestlers who has a chance to win. But we were talking about on the podcast that WWE probably has a couple of different scenarios for winners for the Royal Rumble match. So we were saying, like, they probably have like 5 wrestlers that they pick to win and be like, all right, what happens if this wrestler wins? What's going to happen if this wrestler wins? Because they have a few different options. And I think one of them probably is Randy Orton. And like I said, they can have him win his third Royal Rumble. I think he's going to get another world title run before he's retired. And he just said, I don't know when this is going to come out, but in Mark's time, Randy just said, like, he wants to have a world title match against John Cena at WrestleMania. I think we're going to get that. And I've been calling for this for like the past year or so. I want to see a double retirement match. I thought it was going to happen between John Cena and Edge. Maybe it happens between Edge and Christian, but I think potentially having a double retirement match between Randy and Cena would be super cool. But I think we will get another Randy Orton title run, and I think that we probably will get at least one more match between John Cena and Randy Orton, and it's going to be awesome. My generation sort of grew up absolutely despising Randy Orton and watching Cena feud with him and Edge, and I was talking with Dillon and our cousin about who is like the greatest heel of our generation. And we were kind of figuring out like between Edge and Randy Orton. And I think Dillon put it a good way where he said that you hate Edge, but you are scared of Randy Orton just because he was punt kicking everybody's head, all of the whole legend killer thing. So you let me know in the comments also, who do you think is higher up in terms of the greatest heels of all time? Do you think it's Edge or do you think it's Randy Orton? So before I get to the final person and the person who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble, I meant to talk about so usually in Royal Rumble matches, you can have that be the start of a feud to where someone gets eliminated and then boom, you have a feud for WrestleMania. I think that's what's going to happen between Seth and CM Punk. That's how I think Seth isn't going to win. Or, excuse me, how CM Punk isn't going to win, because I think that Seth Rollins is going to eliminate CM Punk from this match. I don't think Seth is going to be in the match. He's also a little banged up currently. However, I do think he is going to eliminate CM Punk from this match. And I think that's how we're going to get the story between Punk and Seth really going. And I think Seth is going to turn heel leading up to the WrestleMania match. And so I think that what better way to turn him heel than to have him eliminate CM Punk during this. And another thing that I think is going to happen, and I guess I'll jump to my final person, and the person who I think is going to win this match is, I think Cody Rhodes is going to win. What he lacks in terms of like title victories and title reigns and throughout all of those like accolades in his WWE career, I think that WWE is going to make it up to him by having him join the elite list of wrestlers to win the Royal Rumble twice. I think there's 6 or 7 off the top of my head. I couldn't name them all for you, but I think having him join that group of wrestlers to win it twice, and then have him join the smaller group of wrestlers to do it in back-to-back years is really going to help him, and it's really going to elevate him to like another tier of wrestler. He's going to be in the same stratosphere as like the Randy Ortons, the Edges, the Batistas, the John Cenas. Like, I think WWE doing that's really going to push him, and I think he's going to enter the match at number 1, and I think he's going to go the distance. Last year he entered at 30 and picked up the victory, and I think Gunther has a good chance of entering the match at 30, and he's sort of like, we'll flip-flop him and Cody Rhodes. But I think that Cody Rhodes is going to be the Iron Man of the men's Royal Rumble match. I think he's going to enter at number 1 or number 2 and go the distance. Probably number 1 because I think there's only been 3 wrestlers who entered the match at number 1 and pulled off the victory. So I think he's potentially going to break the record for most time spent in the Rumble match. I want to say Gunther broke it last year, or at least in like the standard Royal Rumble matches. I think, I forget who. I think someone spent like a minute or two longer just in like, it was either the 40-man or the 50-man Royal Rumble match, which was pretty stupid. But I think in terms of standard Royal Rumble matches, Gunther broke the record. I think there's a chance Cody breaks the record because right now, as of recording this, there's only 2 matches outside of the 2 Royal Rumble matches. There's reports that one maybe will get added, but I'm not sure what that would really be. Potentially maybe Rhea versus Nia. But besides that, I really don't know. 'Cause, Gunther declared for the Rumble, so he's going to be in it. You already have Logan taking on Kevin Owens. Maybe there's a women's tag team match. I think that could be a good idea for the Royal Rumble card. But assuming there's only 4 matches, including the 2 Royal Rumble matches, I think the men's could go pretty long. I think the women's Royal Rumble match is going to be better. I think it's going to be more fun. And I think it seems like they're not going to announce that many participants because I think at time of recording this, again, maybe more people declared whenever this video comes out, but I want to say there's like only 5 people who declared for the men and maybe 3 or 4 for the women. And last year we saw on the men's side, they announced 27 entrants. And then the other 3 were, I want to say it was Edge, Logan Paul, and Cody. And so it seems like they're going to keep us in the dark, which I think is what makes the Royal Rumble fun. You know, heading into the Royal Rumble like we did last year and knowing 27 out of the 30 entrants sort of takes away the excitement of the match. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on the 3 people who weren't announced for the match. So at that point, just announce everybody or only announce like half of the field, which I'm assuming is what they're going to do this year. So like I said, I think Cody enters at number 1. I think he goes wall to wall. He goes the distance. He's going to be the Iron Man and potentially break the record for most time spent in the Royal Rumble match. And I think he's going to win and challenge Roman at Mania, and I think he's going to beat Roman at Mania, and I think they're going to give him the back-to-back and the 2 Royal Rumble victories. All right, so let's move over to the women's Royal Rumble match because this one has potential to be a lot of fun. I think this match is going to be better than the men's match. I think there's a lot more, or there's different outcomes that could happen, I'll say, for the women's Royal Rumble match. And I'll go over who I think is going to win because I'm feeling pretty confident that it's going to be Bayley. She hasn't won a Royal Rumble yet. She absolutely deserves to win a Royal Rumble. She's been underutilized in WWE for the past year or 2 or even like longer than that. You look at all the accolades of the other women in the 4 horsewomen, and hers is just like a section below everybody else. And it's a shame because she is one of the top stars in WWE. She is one of the best women's wrestlers in WWE. And so I think that she's going to win the Royal Rumble. I think she's going to face Io Sky at WrestleMania. And I think she is going to beat Io Sky at WrestleMania to become your new WWE Women's Champion. And I think she's going to have a solid showing too. I think there's a chance that she could be the Iron Woman for this match. I don't think she's necessarily going to enter at 1 or 2, but maybe closer to like 8, 9, or 10 and have her last like 40 or 45 minutes in the match. And I think that there's a few different ways, or there's a few different people that can win this match. Like I said, I think Bayley's going to actually win, but I think that Bianca Belair could win. I think that Becky Lynch could win. I think that Liv Morgan could win. I think that potentially Roxanne Perez could win. You could have maybe even Jade Cargill win. So I think like you don't necessarily like. All right, so the Royal Rumble, like I said, the start to the road to WrestleMania. So I think we're gonna get Bayley versus Io for the women's title, the WWE Women's title at WrestleMania. I think Bayley wins, and then the other question is who's Rhea gonna face at WrestleMania? You could have her face Bianca. You could have her face Liv Morgan. You could have her face Becky Lynch. Now, I think that it's going to be interesting to see if Rhea enters the Women's Royal Rumble match. Because if Rhea is in the Royal Rumble match, I think that could potentially change who is going to win the Royal Rumble match. Also, I meant to say, I forgot, but Nia Jax also wouldn't surprise me if she won the Royal Rumble match. I don't think she's going to, but it wouldn't surprise me if she did. And I think that Jade Cargill is going to break the record for most women eliminated in a single Royal Rumble match. I think she's going to have 9. I think that whoever eliminates her could potentially be the person to start her first feud. I think it's going to be a veteran. I think it's probably going to be Natalya. Now, I said before that I thought it was going to be someone like a Natalya, like just a good veteran. And then there were some, I think Natalya posted the video on her social media of Jade Cargill training at the Heart Dungeon. So it seems like maybe Natalya eliminates Jade Cargill from the match, and that's sort of like a good feud, a good first feud for Jade Cargill. And then I think you could have, if Rhea enters the match, I think you could have Becky or Liv Morgan eliminate her. I think that there's a chance we could get Bianca versus Jade at WrestleMania. But I also am not quite sure, just based off of like what brands everybody's on, and things could just like kind of change. So I think if Rhea is not in the Women's Royal Rumble match, Bayley is a surefire, throw the mortgage on her to win. But if not, if Rhea's in the match, then I think Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch's percentage sort of goes up a little bit. Maybe it's not such a surefire victory for Bayley, but I think that Damage Control turns on Bayley prior to the Royal Rumble, and then that sort of is like her motivation for that. I think Liv Morgan makes her return at the Rumble, and I think if Rhea's in it, there's a chance that Becky and Liv Morgan, or either one of those two, could eliminate Rhea. And I wouldn't be surprised if Liv Morgan faces Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Man, WWE just has so many talented women that I really feel like they should introduce a women's mid-card title. I said it a while ago, but the problem is, I don't know, like, if I trust WWE to really, like, have that title mean something, because we saw how much they struggled with the women's tag titles. Now, the women's tag titles have been doing a lot better recently, but I'm just not sure how much I trust them with the women's mid-card title, although so many women would benefit from it. I don't think they necessarily need to get rid of the women's tag titles. I think they should keep the women's tag titles, and I think they should add a mid-card title and then just have it on Raw, because I just think there's so many talented women that are kind of just like waiting for their opportunity. So I think that's something that WWE should really do. But that's going to wrap up this micro pod, this mini pod, if you will, because there's a few different scenarios that could take place during the Royal Rumble match. There's a few different records that could be broken. You let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win the men's and the women's Royal Rumble match? And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell in the corner so you get notified every time we release a new video. We release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Plus, we release short-form videos every single day of the week, so you don't want to miss any of those uploads. And you can follow us on all of our social media. On Twitter, we are at The Burnt Hammer, and on everything else, we are at The Burning Hammer. We post exclusive content just to our social media and to YouTube. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up the video, and I will see you in the next one.